It's been months since the controversial no-call contest at Valor Bare Knuckle. I spoke to JC Llamas about his past and his future in Bare Knuckle, so don't miss it. Welcome back to Love MMA Fight fans, where we bring you a new story every week. Today I've got JC Llamas in the house, and the reason we're doing this story today is because you know what? Every fighter has a story, and JC Llamas, you are on, baby. Now, some of the fans might be confused about this, and people maybe are not interested in hearing about it, but there is always two sides to every story. So that's the purpose of doing this interview, and we're trying to be very fair, honest, and balanced. We do try to do that here at Love MMA and Bare Knuckle News. So, JC Llamas, break down what happened with the fight from your perspective, sir.
Whenever the fight was happening, I noticed I was connecting more. I was connecting. Something I like to do is when my opponent punched me once, I want to punch him 3 or 4 or 5 times more. So I keep a count, like how many punches I'm landing. If he punched me, oh, shoot, I got to get him back, and move. But I only count one, like the whole time I was like, I landed 16 out of those 16, 12 punches landed clean. And he was cut open here, here, and his both cheeks were swollen. Like I landed like a nasty right cross. And when I landed and he went back to his corner, he started like checking, he was bleeding from his mouth inside. His cheek was swollen. So I was noticed like, I know I'm winning the round. I know I landed a lot more. He's going to try to do something stupid to stop the fight. That's what went to my head. He's going to try to do something stupid to stop the fight because he cannot touch me. And I hear like the 10 seconds, I think. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to throw one or two more punches before the round ended. So he tried to go forward with me, go forward. And then like I noticed he was trying to like catch me whenever I come in. I felt that his right hand was ready to pair my jab and throw the punch. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna find the right time. I don't want to just go for it and get caught on the last punch. And then I hear my corner man. He's like, it's time, bro. It's time. Like the time was over because we like to keep time. We like to keep time just to like make sure everything is good. So I just keep blocking, and then I think I went outside the pit, and whenever I went outside the pit, he threw a punch, and he went up to me like tried to hug me, and in that exchange, how did it go? I think it went like this or like this. I went sideways. Yeah, I went like this, and I felt that I felt like a little clash of head. It wasn't like that hard, but I felt the clash of head. And right away, I felt, and I told the referee, he headbutted me. I felt him. It's not that I stopped the fight. I even told him, like, dude, you did it on purpose. Like, I felt the bad intentions. I told him, like, you did it on purpose. And he actually, I swear to God, he came and told me, like, I'm sorry, man. I didn't do it on purpose. I didn't do it on purpose. A lot of my fans, I have a lot of people that has my back. A lot of them, they were like, bro, check the video. The time was already over. Like, if you check the video, the score in the actual video from Valor Bare Knuckle, it says like 10, 9, 8, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. And they kept letting him go. They let it go for like 3, 4 more seconds. That's when the headbutt happened. The difference between Bare Knuckle and boxing or even MMA is that in boxing, you got like 10-ounce gloves, like a big padding. And it's easy to block with your hands here. And you can even take a jab or two with the gloves. In Bare Knuckle, you can't take a jab. It will cut you up. In MMA, you might be able to take a jab because it still has padding. Bare Knuckle, you can't take a jab. One jab can stop the fight, not because it will knock you out, it's just because it will cut you open. And the reason why Bare Knuckle is I like it more is because you have to be smarter, you have to be quicker. You cannot take a lot of damage because it can stop the fight just because you're getting cut. And it looks cosmetic wise, it looks worse, but it's actually less damage. Like you get cosmetic wise, like basically like you get cut a lot more in Bare Knuckle, but in reality is less damaging than boxing and MMA because in boxing you get punched in the head like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 times, and then you get back up. You get all like concussions, and then you keep going. In bare knuckle, you don't get like 20, 30, 40, 50
Right.
punches. You get maybe like 3 or 4. You probably caught, and maybe you can take like 3, 4 more, and that's it. They stop it. So that's what I like about the bare knuckle. Also, it just made me. It's perfect for my style. I move very fast. I'm very quick on my movement. I have a weird movement. I'm not like a boxer. I'm not an MMA fighter. I'm not. I'm a capoeirista. Capoeirista is like capoeira.
Yeah.
It's like the Brazilian dancing and flipping and stuff like that. That's why my movement is really weird, but it works. This is the thing, it works. A lot of people used to criticize Dominic Cruz. A lot of people used to criticize people that move weird, but now they're studying their style. McGregor, I've been doing the same movement that I'm doing now for like 8, 9 years, but of course it got better. It got better, and it's getting better. So it, the reason why Mike couldn't hit me is not because I got lucky. It's because I know what I was doing. I know how to move.
You know, fight fans, one of the things that I've discovered in my reporting on combat sports is that a lot of the fight game is mental. So let's talk a little bit, JC, about how you prepare mentally for the fight, and if you have any pre-fight rituals that calm your nerves. Because I got to tell you, I don't know how you guys do that fight day. It makes me nervous watching you. So share with our viewers if you could, please, sir.
Well, I'm really into like a spiritual life. I believe in like chakras. I believe into frequencies, vibrations. I'm into really that. I've been doing that for like maybe 4 or 5 years. I believe that we are energy, and whatever we project, it
Ah,
bounces back from the universe. So I believe in things like that. So my job my job in this journey in this life is to inspire transcendency. So my ritual is to like to inspire others do great in life, inspire people, lead by example. uh, I try to don't tell my students cut weight or train like this. I show them how to do it, then they do it. And whenever I go compete in jiu-jitsu tournaments, the same thing. I fight, I try to fight the best guys out there, just to show them like, hey, I did it, so you better do it too. And we train hard enough, you can do it. So my rituals is that I trust in my abilities. I trust in my skills. I close my eyes, I sit down, and I think. I know how hard I train. I believe in me. I know I've been doing this, I've been doing that. I have my game plan, I have my strategy, and I focus. I focus. That's it. I focus. I see my goal, and the only thing I have to do is just walk to that goal, and that's it. The hardest part, honestly, the hardest part is just the training, the 16, 14, 12 hours a day that I put into training every day. That's the hardest part, to make weight, to train, to spar with some of the beasts, the best fighters out there. That's the hard part. The fight part, I love it. It's just a bonus. It's just a bonus to me.
just going back to a little bit more about educating our viewers about bare knuckle, because the sport is so new here. Tell me what it feels like when you hit someone in the face without a glove on. What does it feel like to you?
Well, it's a different feeling than boxing and MMA, because a lot of times, like I did couple sparring sessions
Yes.
without gloves. I did couple sparring sessions just with wraps, and the first time ever I did a sparring session with just hand wraps, I threw a punch to one of my students on the body, and he blocked it with the elbow, and my hand twist, and I was like, oh man. So then I start thinking like, one punch that I do wrong, it can end the
Yes.
fight, because I can break my hand. And then I start seeing some videos, and I see like guys beating their opponent, pa pa pa, and then they break their hands. I have no hands to fight, and then they become a punching bag. So for me, whenever I start fighting, I throw punches, but I hold back. I don't throw like 100%,
Interesting.
because if I throw 100%, I can break my hand. So I try to keep it like 50 to 70, 60%, unless it's a sniper shot. If I'm catching you, I'm catching you, and then I know I'm gonna land it clean, I probably give you 80, 90%. I don't try to go 100%, because that punch can be my loss.
All right, JC, switching gears a little bit, who is your biggest inspiration and why?
Well, my biggest inspiration is my grandma. I grew up with my grandma. When I was a kid, I guess it was hard for my mom to take care of us, so she gave it away with our grandma. She's not my grandma from blood. She's like, she just raises me and my brother. So when I was like 4 and a half, almost 5 years old, my grandfather passed away. So my grandma, she raised me and my brother, and she never went to school. She didn't know how to read. She just was like, she was like a warrior. She did everything to make some money. Like she iron clothes, she washes clothes, she sell fruit, whatever she did, it was to help me and my brother to survive. So around like 6 7 years old, me and my brother, we started like working with her, like picking fruit, selling fruit, going fishing. Like we learned how to how to survive, like little by little. And so she told me a lot of great things in life, a lot of morals, um, a lot of things in life that still with me, that I still carry on. So uh, one day she told me, we were like really, like we were hungry. We haven't eaten for like a day, maybe 2 days. And one old guy told her like, Doña Cuca, that's her name, Cuca, and Doña means like Miss, right? Mrs. Cuca. Here's 20 pesos. It was like $2. Get the kids some food, like because we were starving. And she said to him, "No, thank you." And then I look at my grandma like,
Ah,
"Oh my God, like what's wrong with you? Like we're starving. We haven't eaten like the whole day today and yesterday. Like what's wrong with you?" I didn't say anything. I just thought about it because I couldn't talk back to her. Like she will whoop me. So I look at her like really mad, and she gave me that look, like don't make a scene right now. I'm gonna whoop your butt. So I got home. When we got home, and I asked her why you didn't take that money. Like you know that we hungry, that we not eating, and you just say no to the 20 pesos. Like we hungry. And my brother was just staring at me and my grandma because my brother didn't talk back to her. Like he knows better. I know better too, but I had to say something. So then she said like, "Come here, Juan Carlos, sit down." And I was like, "Shoot, I'm gonna get my ass whooped right now." But then she's like, "Look, um, Don Roman, that was the name of the guy. Don Roman, uh, this guy is not his responsibility to give us money. This guy is
wow.
not his job to feed you or your brother or myself. You guys are my responsibility. The moment you take money from somebody without earning it, you become useless. So I don't want you ever to take money from nobody if you haven't earned it. Okay? Ever. You better earn whatever you have, whatever they give you, you better earn it." So then I didn't understand it when I was like 6 7 years old. And then I understand it now. The moment you start giving people something, they become useless if they don't earn it. They think like, oh, so thanks to that action that happened, it just made me realize that I have to work harder to eat. I have to work harder to survive, to provide for my family, for my kids, for my brother, my family, everybody. I have to work for it. I cannot just expect somebody to give me something. So now I know what she meant, and that stood with me like forever, like until right now. And things like that, like almost every day was a lesson, like learning from her. And she's my inspiration. She's the reason why I'm right here talking to you and doing all these things.
What an inspiring story. Thank you for sharing that with our viewers. I think it really speaks to the heart and soul of many young athletes or young kids that are struggling in a situation where they're not in a financial position, that you can dig your way out and you can make a better life to you. And thank you to your grandmother for helping you with that. Final question on my end, sir, today. What has combat sports taught you?
Oh man, besides humility, uh, when I first started doing martial arts, I used to get in fights all the time because back in my hometown, it was bad. It was like drug dealer, thugs, um, bad people, really bad people, and I used to like be around that environment. I was getting in fights all the time. So when I first came to the U.S., I had that mentality. Like I was a gangster. I was a thug. I can fight anybody and I can beat anybody. If a car hit me, the car would get destroyed. Nothing would happen to me. I had that stupid mentality and like arrogant mentality. And I went to do break dancing inch exchange. It's like a gym, like weight gym. And I was break dancing with some of my friends, and I saw some guys doing jujitsu. I didn't know what it was, and then I asked them, "What is this?" And they're like, "Oh, it's jujitsu." They were grappling, and whenever I asked them, "What is that?" and they're grappling jujitsu. Come, you wanna try? So I tried, and one of the guys got me in a leg lock. I didn't know like you're supposed to tap or anything. So I started screaming like ah. He said, "Oh, just tap when it hurts." What is that? Just tap, do this, or say tap. So I tap, and I asked him, "What is that?" And he's like, "Oh, it's a leg lock." I fell in love with that, so I started learning it. And when I first started, I was like, "I'm gonna learn this, and I'm gonna go back home. I'm gonna beat everybody that used to punk me and try to like bully me back in the days." That was my mentality. Then I started learning more and more and more and more. And a 14, 15-year-old kid with glasses put me in a triangle and choked me out. And I almost went out. So I realized, like, man, this is crazy. I need to learn this.
Interesting.
And then I start understanding, like, I cannot do this to somebody. I'm gonna kill somebody. Oh man! So it started teaching me responsibility. It started teaching me like control my anger. It started teaching me discipline, humility. Like I started to be more humble about it. I try to be less confrontational about things. When somebody speak gel, like start screaming, I used to be the guy like, "Oh, you too, blah 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 blah." I start avoiding that. I understand that a word well said is louder than the biggest noise.
Yeah.
A word well said is louder than the biggest noise. So I start understanding things like that. It gave me peace. It gave me um, a better lifestyle. It gave me love from a lot of people around me. It gave me happiness. So thanks to that sport, I created a life
Right.
that 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 is healthy for me. It's healthy for my kid. It's healthy for my family, the people around me. And now I try to pass that on to my students, to people around me. And I try to go to Mexico, like to do seminars and do events like that. And we try to help the my community. Like we do events and I do seminars, and the only thing they have to do is just bring food. And we last time we got like
Wow.
2.5 tons of food, and me and some of my students, we distribute it in like a lot of the poor neighborhoods, and try to get the bad people out of the bad states of minds to do something positive. Right now, I have a world champion in boxing, like a female. I have a lot of kids that used to do bad things doing sports. A lot of them, they some of them they were fighting in Combat Americas. We
Right.
have a lot of successful stories that they're coming from the bad neighborhoods right now. So I feel that my work is finally working. It's finally doing something productive. So I think just the feeling of me being able to help other, that's the greatest feeling that sports has gives me. Like just that feeling being needed.
And what a great role model you set for your children and your students. So I applaud you for that. Before we go today, JC, is there anything else you want to add, sir?
Yes, I'm actually have a new book. It's called From Ashes to Flames, and this book is very inspirational. It talks about my crazy stories when I was a kid, how I started doing music, how I started doing acting, how I started fighting. The story about my grandma whenever she got sick, how I got into fights. It talks about like some of the reality TV shows that I did. Um, a lot of the stories on the book is actually also from an album, a music album that I'm both of the album and the book, they're the same name. It's called From Ashes to Flame. So the only difference is one is rapping and
Wow.
and, has melody, and the other one is just I'm just explaining some of the stories. Very inspirational, and it's called From Ashes to Flames. The book is already done. The album is already done. We're just waiting for the publisher to get a specific day to release it, and it's gonna be in physical copy. It's gonna be digital where you can read it and also where you can hear it, the book. So hopefully we think maybe in a couple months it should be ready to go.
Thanks to JC Llamas for taking the time to speak with Must Love MMA and Bare Knuckle News. I'm Susan Cingari. Remember, no one beats us to the punch. Don't forget to like and smash that subscribe button. See you next time.
Jugaste y te enamoraste de quién. Yo no soy Peter Parker, ni tampoco tú eres Mary Jane.